Well, there you have it, guys. 7 watches, one for every day of the week. Now, you may not agree with me that that is the perfect 7-day watch collection, but honestly, I don't care. Any of those watches would be a perfect one and done if you ask me. Welcome back to the channel. This is a very special episode, according to Brenny. This is not a state of the collection episode. This is the perfect 7-day watch collection for an enthusiast. Spoiler alert, I own all these watches because I am a watch collector. It's taken me about 3 years to get these pieces together, and 3 of these pieces are still impossible to get as a walk-in from a Rolex authorized dealer and an Omega authorized dealer. If you're a subscriber, thanks very much. If not, consider hitting the subscribe button and let's get into this perfect 7-day watch collection video. Monday's watch is a very special watch. It is the Rolex Submariner. My personal watch is a pre-ceramic 5-digit reference N, the Rolex 14060M to be exact. I like the pre-ceramic subs, I just do. The cases are smaller, the cases are thinner. If you have a smaller wrist, this could be the watch for you. If you have a wrist above 7 inches, go for a modern Submariner. If you have a smaller wrist below 7 inches, go for an older reference number Rolex Submariner. Now, a couple of things about this watch. It is the caliber 3130 movement with a 48-hour power reserve. Even though the watch is almost 20 years old, it still has 300 meters water resistant. It also has a 20mm lug to lug, which means you can put a NATO strap on the watch, and the watch is extremely versatile considering it's almost 20 years old. If you were to go and buy a brand new Seamaster Driver 300, which is also a very similar watch, that watch, even though it's got a more modern movement, has only got a 55-hour power reserve, just 7 hours more than this watch. It also has the same depth rating. My view, if you want a one and done sports diver, go for a Rolex Submariner. Now, something very special about my watch, it's a transitional model. Rolex went from having 2 lines of text to 4, which this has, and it also went from having a longer font F to a short font F. So for a 2-year period, this dial was produced, and it also has a nickname. They call it the Rolex Submariner Long F. Transitional model, going from 2 lines to 4 lines, going from a long F to a short F, going from the serial number on the case as standard in the olden days to being on the rehort. So this watch has got a lot going on. 2 serial numbers, a longer F, and it also has a nickname. This watch is from the movie The Long Good Friday. When people talk about a Rolex Submariner Long F, they mention the movie Long Good Friday. They do. So this guy watched the movie, and I've yet to see the watch in the movie, but apparently that's its nickname. Could this be a one and done? 100%. Tuesday's watch can only be one watch, guys. An Omega Speedy. My watch is the Silver Snoopy Anniversary Edition. A very special watch, still almost impossible to get from an Omega authorized dealer. Now, just so you know, the movement in this watch is the same as the standard Speedy, and the standard Speedy is just as good a watch, if you ask me, being a previous owner. The caliber 3861 movement is the same movement in both watches. Comes with a 50-hour power reserve, but the watch is manual wind. If you wanted to wear this watch on a daily basis, you're going to have to wind it every day, which is not for everyone. It also only has 5 hours water resistant, so it's not a screw down crown, guys. Do not take this watch surfing. Another thing that you need to know about this watch is it's big. It's thick to hold all those extra special features. It is 14.5 millimeters thick on the wrist. Just be careful, guys. When you're buying watches that you've never tried on before, you might get them home and realize they're not comfortable. It's a 42 millimeter case with a 47.5 millimeter length lug tip to lug tip. What it does have, it has a 20 millimeter lug either side, so it is a complete strap monster and looks fantastic on a NATO strap. If you haven't got one in your collection, you should have. If you're a serious watch collector, you have to have a Speedmaster in your watch collection. It's a must. Wednesday's watch, it's a GMT day. The Rolex GMT, to be precise. The Rolex BLNR Batgirl on Jubilee. An absolutely stunning watch and currently the pride of my collection. I got very lucky with this watch. I have a very good authorized dealer called Preston's, and they knew I wanted the watch and they helped me get the watch. They really did. They went above and beyond the call of duty to get Brenny into his Grail watch. A watch that is still almost impossible to get in 2024. If you want a Rolex wristwatch, get your ass to Preston's. Some details about the watch: it's the caliber 3285 with a 70-hour power reserve, guys, 100 meters water resistant, plus minus 2 seconds a day. This watch looks great in a suit, looks great in jeans. It basically looks great on any wrist and is extremely comfortable on the Jubilee bracelet. A definite one and done GMT for anybody's collection. Thursday's watch is a no-brainer, guys. It is the Rolex OP 41 green dial, an absolutely perfect watch. This watch took me almost 2 years to get from an authorized dealer. Even though it's an entry-level Rolex, it's very hard to come by. Now, when I say entry-level, don't be fooled. There is nothing entry-level about this watch. It is as good as a 10K Rolex. Now, the spec on this watch is a 3230 movement with a 70-hour power reserve and screw-down crown with 100 meters water resistant, plus minus 2 seconds per day. It is an absolutely wonderful daily watch and entry-level Rolex watch for somebody starting to collect these watches. What I really like about this watch is how clean and symmetrical the dial is, not having a date function. I personally love this watch, and when I wear the watch, it doesn't feel like a lesser Rolex. It doesn't. I can wear this watch, or I can wear a GMT, or I can wear a two-tone rose gold Yacht-Master and not feel like I have a lesser watch on the wrist. If you have a watch collection, especially a 7-day watch collection, this watch needs to be in that collection. Lastly, on the grey market, they're coming down tremendously. You can pick up a black one just slightly above MSRP. Still a massive wait at authorized dealers. If you were a friend of mine and you weren't on a wait list for an OP, I would tell you to go straight to the grey market. The Rolex OP 41, a must for every 7-day watch collection. Friday's watch, we're going with an Omega Worldtimer my titanium Worldtimer. I really like this watch and I wear it quite a lot, and I'm finding that the watch just seems to be very hardy. When I look at the case, the grade 2 titanium case, it hasn't got a mark on it. The ceramic bezel is also extremely robust, and I really need to tell you that this is a fantastic watch and a very underrated watch. And when I say fantastic, it comes with a fantastic titanium grade 2 deployable clasp and an antifungal strap. This Aquaterra is the perfect travel watch because it is low key. It doesn't grab people's eye, so you can stay off the radar. You can be wearing a beautiful timepiece that only collectors will spot. When I wear this watch and I go into ADs, I forget that when they see this watch, they are impressed by this watch, but to the general public, it is a pretty underwhelming watch, and yet it is a Worldtimer. Little bit of information about the watch. It is the caliber 8938 with a 60-hour power reserve, automatic movement, screw down crown, 15 bar water resistant, which is 150 meters, perfect all-round sports watch if you ask me. Lug tip to lug tip, 50 millimeters, and the strap width is 21 millimeters. The watch is thick, it's 14.1 millimeters thick, but when you consider that the Omega Snoopy is 14.5, this really isn't that thick a watch. Being titanium, it's almost like you're not wearing a watch. Last bit of information on this watch, just so you don't pass the watch because you think it's too big. It is down as a 43 millimeter case, and yet on this 6 3/4 inch wrist, it fits perfectly. It doesn't look too big, guys, and it is extremely comfortable. Being a Worldtimer, what you do is you set the world time clock to your home time, let's say New York, and then you set the quick set function on the hands to your current time. And at any time of the day, you can look at the watch and you can know what your time is and what your home time is. I think they should call it a home timer, not a Worldtimer, because it confuses people. Let me re-explain why I would call this a 2 time zone watch rather than a Worldtimer, because it does confuse people being called a Worldtimer. Let's say you're in London and it's a certain time, your current time, and then you've got your home time in New York. You can then look at the watch and know that it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here and it's 9 o'clock in the morning in New York. But then you look at Sydney time and you think, oh, it's 1 p.m. in Sydney. It isn't, guys. This watch doesn't know what time it is around the world, and that's what confuses people. It only has 2 current time zones, your current time zone and your home time zone. That's how it works, guys. I just like to clarify that because there's a lot of people out there don't understand how this watch really works. There's a lot of YouTubers out there explain this watch wrong. They honestly tell you that this watch knows what time it is around the world, which is bananas. The Omega Worldtimer, in my opinion, is a very underrated and extremely good value wristwatch. Saturday's watch can only be one watch. It can only be a Seamaster Diver 300M, my Bond 60th anniversary edition, no less. Very special watch, and this one doesn't have a date function either, so it's a very clean dial. Also, the blue on this watch, the blue dial, the blue wave dial, is second to none. This also has a aluminium bezel. You pay £2,000 more for a watch without a ceramic bezel. Only Omega could do that to you. Now, there's a lot more to this watch than meets the eye, and there's loads of videos on this watch. I'm not going to bore you with it. It is the caliber 8806 movement with only a 55-hour power reserve. Come on, Omega, get your act together. It's an automatic movement. It's a 42mm case. It is a thick watch, at 14.3 millimeters thick, and lug tip to lug tip is 49.93 millimeters. But it's a strap monster, guys. It's a 20 millimeter lug to lug strap, which means it's extremely versatile. I'm currently wearing my one on an Atom sailcloth strap, a blue-white sailcloth strap with Atom's deployable clasp, which is as good as Omega's at half the price. Really suits this watch perfectly. What more can I say about the watch? It's 30 meters water resistant, and unlike the other Seamaster 300Ms, this watch only has the AR coating on the inside, so the glass is more scratch resistant. Watches with an AR coating on the outside, when they get a scratch, it's pretty obvious. If they don't have an AR coating, the glass is a lot more robust, so it's very hard to scratch it. The Omega Seamaster Diver 300M has to be in every collector's collection, guys. Doesn't have to be a fancy one, can be a normal one, and pre-owned. They go really cheap. If you wanted to start collecting watches and you had, let's say, a budget of $3.5 grand, you can get yourself a Diver 300M. Just to reiterate, what is very special about this watch, and it won't show up on any website, you have to see it in person, is the blue wave dial. It is stupendous. It is stunning, guys. The camera may pick it up, I don't know. You definitely need to go and see this watch in person. And remember, the watch has a lot going on at the back. I have done other videos on it, so the watch is a very special watch. Last thing to remember is, even though it's a Bond edition, it doesn't have any of that namby-pamby chintzy stuff on the front. No 007s, no logos, nothing like that. Everything novelty wise is at the back. If you didn't want somebody to know that you're a kid at heart, you just wear the watch and don't say anything. On Sundays I wear 2 watches. In the morning I wear my G-Shock, and when I've come home from a long cycle and I've had a shower, I put on my favorite watch. I do. I put on my Rolex Yacht-Master, my favorite watch. This one is a chocolate rose gold two-tone Yacht-Master. It's got a 40 millimeter case. It's the caliber 3235 with a 70-hour power reserve, 100 meters water resistant, plus minus 2 seconds a day. My absolute favorite watch and my most comfortable watch. 2 things I like about this particular watch is I like accuracy, and I can get this watch to plus 2 seconds a month. I can. I wear my watches 24 hours and I wear this watch through the night, guys. What I do is I charge the watch with a charging torch at about 10 p.m. and at any time in the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I can look over in pitch dark and I can tell the time on the watch. Not many wristwatches you can do that with. There isn't. None of my Omegas are like this watch, apart from my Peter Blake. What more can I say about this watch? This watch, the Yacht-Master, is not a highly coveted Rolex. I can assure you it is one of the best watches Rolex makes. If you get the opportunity to try one on, you will see what I'm saying. Now, waitlists for Yacht-Masters are rising, would you believe, because Rolex are making less steel watches. They are. But again, pre-owned secondary market, you can pick up the steel versions, the modern steel versions, 2022 models. I believe it's a blue dial and a silver dial. You can get them slightly below MSRP. If you want it from an authorized dealer, the wait is now about a year. Last but not least, I would like to give a personal thank you to Preston's of Winslow and Chris for selling me this watch. This is my favorite watch and has led to me moving to Preston's because they are the best AD currently operating in the United Kingdom. Again, my favorite watch, my Rolex Yacht-Master rose gold two-tone chocolate dial. It is such a stupendous watch. They do actually make a 37mm watch if you were thinking of buying one for your better half. Well, there you have it, guys. 7 watches, one for every day of the week. Now, you may not agree with me that that is the perfect 7-day watch collection, but honestly, I don't care. Any of those watches would be a perfect one and done if you ask me. It's all subjective, it's all personal, but those watches are mine. And they didn't come easy, guys. 3 of them watches, like I said at the start, are extremely hard to come by, to get from an authorized dealer. I'd like to thank you for watching. I would like to thank you for your continued support of the channel. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button, and I will catch you all on the next video.